Captain Daeho Kim sat in his pilot chair, watching the stars drift past his small ship's window. The Iron Phoenix was not much to look at. The hull was old and scratched. The paint was peeling in many places. Most people would think it was ready for the scrapyard, but Daeho knew better. This ship had been his home for 5 years now, and it had never let him down. The cargo hold was full of medical supplies and food packages. He was taking them to the outer colonies near the edge of human space. It was a long trip, but the pay was good. These colonies needed everything, and they paid well for it. Daeho liked the quiet runs. After 10 years in the Earth Defense Force, he enjoyed the peace. His ship's computer, Nari, spoke in her calm voice. "Captain, I am detecting several ships approaching our position." Daeho looked at his screen. 5 red dots were moving toward him fast, very fast. He frowned. "Can you tell what kind of ships they are?" "Unknown design, Captain. They do not match any human ship in my database. They are large, much larger than us." Daeho felt his stomach tighten. Unknown ships in deep space usually meant one thing: pirates or worse. How long until they reach us? 15 minutes at their current speed. Daeho's hands moved over his controls. He had been a soldier once. He knew how to stay calm when trouble came. Try to contact them. Use the standard greeting. The screen flickered, and then a face appeared. It was not human. The alien had gray skin and large black eyes. Its mouth was full of sharp teeth. When it spoke, the words came through his ship's translator. "Human vessel, you will stop your engines and prepare to be boarded. Your ship and cargo now belong to the Veltar Empire." Daeho kept his face calm. "This is Captain Kim of the merchant ship Iron Phoenix. We are carrying medical supplies to the outer colonies. We mean no harm to anyone." The alien's face twisted into what might have been a smile. "Your words mean nothing, human. Your species is weak. Your ships are slow and poorly armed. You will surrender now, or we will destroy you." "I understand you want our cargo," Daeho said. "But these are medical supplies. People will die without them. Surely we can work something out." The alien laughed. It was not a pleasant sound. "Your people should have stayed on your little planet. Space belongs to the strong. You humans are not strong." Daeho looked at his screens. The 5 alien ships were getting closer. They were huge compared to his little cargo ship. Each one was probably 10 times bigger than the Iron Phoenix. Their hulls were dark metal with strange markings. He could see weapon ports along their sides, Captain, Nari said quietly. "Should I activate the backup systems?" "Not yet," Daeho whispered. To the alien, he said, "Please give us time to consider your offer. We do not want to fight." "You have no choice in fighting," the alien said. "You cannot fight. Look at your pathetic ship. Look at our fleet. You will surrender, or you will die. You have 2 minutes to decide." The screen went dark. Daeho sat back in his chair and closed his eyes for a moment. He thought about his time in the Defense Force. He remembered the battles at Titan Station. He remembered watching his friends die when aliens attacked human colonies for the first time. That was why he had left the military. Too much death. Too much fighting. But sometimes fighting came to you whether you wanted it or not. "Nari," he said softly, "what do you know about the Veltar Empire?" "Searching databases," she said. "The Veltar are a militaristic species. They have conquered 12 other species in the past 200 years. They use slave labor and take resources from conquered worlds. They believe that might makes right." "What about their ships?" "Their technology is approximately 50 years behind current human military standards. However, they make up for this with numbers and aggressive tactics." Daeho nodded. "And they think we are weak because they have only seen our civilian ships." "That appears to be correct, Captain." Daeho looked at his control panel. It looked simple and old, but hidden beneath the surface were systems that most people never saw. The Iron Phoenix was not really a cargo ship. It had been built as a cargo ship. But Daeho had made many changes over the years. He had friends in the military who helped him get special parts. He had learned a lot about ship design during his service years. The alien ships were very close now. Deho could see them, clearly on his screens. They moved in a standard attack formation, 5 ships in a line with the largest one in the center. It was the kind of formation that worked well against weak enemies. Human ship, the alien voice came again. Your time is up. Surrender now. Deho pressed a button and opened the communication channel. This is Captain Kim. I need to speak with your commander. I am Commander Thexmar of the Imperial Fleet. You will surrender immediately. Commander Thexmar, Deho said, I want you to understand something. I tried to avoid this. I offered to talk. I gave you every chance to leave us alone. Your words are meaningless. Prepare to. I am not finished, Deho said, his voice getting harder. I served 10 years in the Earth Defense Force. I fought at Titan Station. I was there when the Kraken attacked our colonies. I have seen what happens when aliens attack humans. Your threats do not frighten us, human. Your species is weak. Deho smiled, but it was not a happy smile. You think we are weak because you have only seen our merchant ships and colony vessels. You have never seen what humans build when we prepare for war. Enough talk. All ships open fire. Destroy the human vessel. Deho's screen lit up with incoming weapon fire. Energy beams and projectiles flew toward his ship. Nari, activate. All defensive systems, full military protocols. Yes, Captain. Activating adaptive armor. Deploying countermeasures. Charging weapon systems. The alien weapons hit the Iron Phoenix. The ship shook, but Deho could tell the damage was minimal. The hull looked scorched and damaged from the outside, but the adaptive armor had absorbed most of the energy. Small explosions appeared on the surface, making it look like the ship was badly hurt. Direct hit, one of the aliens shouted over the communication channel. The human ship is damaged. Finish them, Commander Thexmar ordered. But Deho was no longer listening to them. He was thinking about his old squad, about the friends he had lost, about the colonies that had been destroyed, about the families that had been torn apart. Nari, he said quietly, scan their ships, find their weak points. Scanning complete, Captain. Their shields are designed to stop energy weapons, but they are vulnerable to kinetic projectiles. Their engines produce a heat signature that can be targeted. Their communication array is unshielded. Good. Deho's hands moved over his controls. Hidden panels opened all over the Iron Phoenix. Weapon ports appeared where there had been blank hull plating. Advanced sensors deployed from concealed compartments. The ship's engines changed their sound as military-grade power systems came online. What is that human ship doing? One of the alien voices said. It appears to be changing, another said. Impossible. Maintain fire. Destroy it quickly. But the Iron Phoenix was no longer the same ship they had been shooting at. The hull sections rearranged themselves, becoming sleeker and more angular. The weapon ports locked onto the alien ships with mechanical precision. The engines flared brighter as the ship's true power came online. Nari, Deho said, open a channel to all ships. Channel open, Captain. Commander Thexmar, Deho said, his voice calm and cold. This is your last warning. Leave this area immediately. I do not want to hurt you, but I will if you force me to. There was silence on the communication channel for several seconds. Then Thexmar spoke, but his voice sounded different now. Less confident. What kind of ship is that? This is what humans build when we need to protect ourselves, Deho said. You called us weak. You said we could not fight. You were wrong. Impossible. Our intelligence reports say humans have only basic technology. Your intelligence reports are based on our civilian ships, Deho explained. You have never seen our military vessels. You attacked a merchant ship carrying medical supplies. You threatened to kill innocent people. That was your mistake. The alien ships had stopped firing. They were hanging in space, apparently confused by what they were seeing. This is some kind of trick, Thexmar said, but his voice shook. No trick, Deho replied. This is just one ship, one old cargo hauler that I modified with spare parts. Would you like to see what our real warships can do? He pressed another button. A new signal appeared on his communication system. It was an automated distress beacon but not the kind that called for help. It was the kind that called for backup. Nari, send a message to Earth Defense Command. Tell them we have made contact with a hostile alien force. Tell them the Veltar Empire has attacked a civilian vessel without provocation. Message sent, Captain. Earth Defense Command acknowledges. They are dispatching Fleet Group 7 to our location. How long until they arrive? 18 hours at maximum jump speed. Deho turned back to the communication channel. Commander Thexmar, you have 18 hours to leave this area. When the Earth Defense Force arrives, they will want to know why you attacked a medical supply ship. You are bluffing, Thexmar said, but he did not sound sure. Am I? Deho asked. Would you like to find out? The alien ships remained motionless for several long minutes. Deho waited patiently. He had learned to be patient during his military service. Patience often won bat. The alien ships had been gone for 3 hours when they came back. This time there were more of them. Many more. Deho was drinking coffee in his small kitchen when Nari spoke. Captain, I am detecting 23 ships approaching our position. They match the design of the previous Veltar vessels. Deho set down his cup and walked back to the pilot area. His screens showed a much larger fleet this time. The ships were arranged in a battle formation that covered a wide area of space. They were moving fast and with purpose. It seems Commander Thexmar called for help, Deho said. Yes, Captain. The largest ship appears to be a command vessel. It is 3 times bigger than the ships we encountered before. Deho sat in his pilot chair and looked at the approaching fleet. 23 ships against 1. Most people would run. Most people would surrender. But Deho was not most people. Nari, what is our status? All systems are functioning normally. Weapons are charged and ready. Defensive systems are online. The adaptive armor is at full strength. Good. And our message to Earth Defense Command? Confirmed received. Fleet Group 7 is still 14 hours away. Deho nodded. 14 hours was a long time in a space battle, but he had fought longer battles before. Open a communication channel when they get in range. The alien fleet slowed as it approached. The ships spread out in a perfect attack formation. Deho could see weapon ports opening on their hulls. These aliens were not planning to talk first this time. Incoming transmission, Nari announced. The screen flickered and a new alien face appeared. This one was older than Commander Thexmar. Its skin was darker gray and it had scars across its face. When it spoke, its voice was deep and angry. Human vessel, I am Admiral Kethvol of the Veltar Imperial Fleet. You have humiliated one of my commanders. You have threatened the authority of the Empire. This cannot be allowed. Deho looked at the alien admiral with calm eyes. Admiral, my name is Captain Kim. I am carrying medical supplies to human colonies. Your commander attacked my ship without warning. I defended myself, that is all. That is not all, the admiral snarled. You claim to have called for military support. You threaten us with your Earth Defense Force. We will not be intimidated by lies. They are not lies, Deho said simply. The admiral's face twisted with anger. Impossible. Our intelligence network covers this entire sector. We would know if human military ships were in this area. Your intelligence network does not know everything about human capabilities, Deho replied. You attacked a merchant ship. In human space, that is an act of war. War? The admiral laughed, but it was not a pleasant sound. You speak of war? Your entire species has perhaps a few hundred ships. The Veltar Empire controls over 10,000 vessels. We have conquered 12 other species. We will add humanity to that list. Deho was quiet for a moment. He remembered his training at the Defense Force Academy. One of the most important lessons had been about first contact protocols. When meeting a new alien species, humans were supposed to appear non-threatening. They were supposed to hide their true military strength until they understood the aliens' intentions. The Veltar had made their intentions very clear. Admiral, Deho said, you are making a mistake. Humans prefer peace. We do not want to fight you. But if you force us to fight, you will not like the results. More threats, the Admiral said. I grow tired of your words, human. Look around. You. 23 ships against one. Your vessel may have some tricks, but numbers will defeat you. Perhaps, Deho agreed, but you will pay a heavy price for your victory. We will pay nothing. Veltar ships are strong. Veltar warriors are brave. Your people are weak farmers and merchants. Deho smiled sadly. The aliens really did not understand what they were dealing with. Admiral, I'm going to tell you something. In human history, we have a saying, never start a fight with someone who has nothing left to lose. What does that mean? It means that I am alone out here. My ship is small and old. I should be afraid of your fleet. I should surrender and beg for mercy. Yes, you should. But I am not afraid, Deho continued. Do you know why? The Admiral was silent. I am not afraid because I know something you do not know. I know what happens when humans get angry. I know what happens when someone threatens innocent people under our protection. I know what my people are capable of when they decide to fight. Your words are meaningless. All ships, attack formation. Destroy the human vessel. The communication channel closed. Deho watched as the alien ships moved into position. They were being very careful this time. They had learned from the first encounter that his ship was more dangerous than it looked. Nari, he said quietly, remember Protocol 7 from our Defense Force days? Yes, Captain. First contact with hostile alien species. Rules of engagement are to protect human life and demonstrate human capabilities without revealing full military strength. Exactly. It is time to give them a demonstration. The Iron Phoenix began to change again. This time, Deho did not try to hide it. The hull sections moved smoothly, transforming the ship from a cargo hauler into something much more dangerous. Weapon ports opened like flowers blooming in fast motion. Advanced sensor arrays deployed from hidden compartments. The ship's engines changed color as military-grade fusion reactors came online. What is that thing? One of the alien voices said over the communication channel. It is still just one ship, Admiral Kethval replied, but his voice was less confident than before. All ships open fire. Maximum power. 23 alien ships fired at once. The space around the Iron Phoenix filled with energy beams, plasma bolts, and explosive projectiles. It was enough firepower to destroy a small moon. But the Iron Phoenix was no longer where the weapons were aimed. Nari, evasive maneuvers. Pattern Delta 7. Yes, Captain. The ship moved like nothing the aliens had ever seen. It twisted and turned through space as if it were dancing rather than fighting. The adaptive armor absorbed the few hits that connected, while the ship's point defense systems shot down incoming missiles. Impossible, Admiral Kethval said. No ship can move like that. Deho was pressed back into his chair by the acceleration, but he was smiling. Nari, target their communication ship. Disable it. Do not destroy it. Target acquired, Captain. The Iron Phoenix fired once. A single beam of coherent energy struck one of the smaller alien ships. The beam was precisely aimed and carefully controlled. It cut through the ship's communication array like a surgical knife, leaving the rest of the vessel undamaged. The alien ship began to drift, its engines still working, but its ability to coordinate with the fleet completely gone. What kind of weapon is that? An alien voice shouted. Precision plasma cutter, Deho said, opening the communication channel again. Standard equipment on human ships. We can cut your ships apart piece by piece, or we can disable them without killing anyone. Your choice. This is impossible, Admiral Kethval said. Our sensors show that your ship is barely larger than a fighter craft. How can it carry such weapons? Human engineering, Deho replied. We build things differently than you do. The alien fleet was regrouping, trying to surround his ship, but the Iron Phoenix was too fast and too agile. It moved between the larger ships like a fish swimming through rocks. Nari, target the lead ship's engines. Same procedure. Yes, Captain. Another precise energy beam struck Admiral Kethval's flagship. The ship's main engines went dark, leaving it unable to maneuver properly. My ship, the Admiral shouted. What have you done? I disabled your engines, Deho explained patiently. Your life support is still working. Your crew is safe, but you cannot chase me anymore. You will pay for this insult. Admiral, I am trying to avoid killing anyone, but you are making it very difficult. The remaining alien ships were firing wildly now, trying to hit the fast-moving human vessel, but their weapons were designed for fighting large, slow targets. The Iron Phoenix was small and fast, and its pilot knew exactly what he was doing. Nari, how long until Fleet Group 7 arrives? 13 hours and 22 minutes, Captain. And how many alien ships can we disable in that time? At the current rate, all of them, Captain. Deho nodded. One by one, he began picking apart the alien fleet. A weapons array here, an engine cluster there, a shield generator somewhere else. Each shot was perfectly aimed and carefully controlled. He was not trying to destroy the ships or kill their crews. He was trying to teach them a lesson. The lesson was simple. Humans were not weak. After an hour, half the alien fleet was drifting helplessly in space. Their ships were intact, but they could not fight and they could not run. "This is Admiral Kethval," came a transmission. "I demand to speak with your commander." "You are speaking with him," Deho replied. You are just a merchant captain. Where are your military leaders?" "I am a merchant captain now," Deho said. "But I used to be a military officer. Most human civilian pilots have military training. We believe in being prepared." "This is madness. One ship cannot defeat an entire fleet." "I have not defeated your fleet," Deho corrected. "I have disabled it. If I wanted to defeat it, you would all be dead by now." There was a long silence. Then the Admiral spoke again, his voice quieter than before. "What do you want?" "I want you to leave human space and never come back. I want you to report to your empire that humans are not easy targets." Admiral Kethval made his decision after 8 hours. The alien fleet began moving away from Deho's position, their damaged ships limping along as best they could. But they did not go far. Instead, they stopped at the edge of sensor range and waited. "They are calling for more ships," Nari observed. Deho nodded. He had expected this. The Veltar Empire would not accept defeat so easily. "How many ships do you think they will bring?" "Based on their communication patterns, I estimate they are summoning their entire sector fleet. Approximately 200 vessels. 200 ships," Deho repeated thoughtfully. "That is a lot of firepower." "Yes, Captain. Are you concerned?" Deho looked at his screens where he could see the distant alien ships. "No, Nari. I am not concerned. Boram is bringing 47 ships, and each one is worth 10 of theirs. But more importantly, those alien commanders are about to learn something important about human military doctrine." "What is that, Captain?" "We never fight alone." 4 hours later, space began to change. Reality itself seemed to bend and twist as massive ships dropped out of hyperspace. The first to arrive was the dreadnought Inchin, a ship so large that it cast shadows across nearby asteroids. Behind it came cruisers, destroyers, and frigates, each one bristling with weapons. But Admiral Park had not come alone. More human ships continued to arrive, dropping out of hyperspace in perfect formation. Ships from the Mars Defense Fleet. Ships from the Outer Colony Guard. Ships from the Jupiter Mining Consortium's private security force. "Captain Kim," Admiral Park's voice came over the communication system. "This is quite a welcoming committee you have gathered." Deho smiled as he watched the human fleet take position around his small ship. "Hello, Boram. I see you brought some friends." When word got out that aliens had attacked a human civilian vessel, everyone wanted to come. "We have 93 ships here, with more arriving every hour." 93? Deho was surprised. "I thought you said 47. That was before the news spread. Apparently attacking a medical supply ship makes people angry. Who would have thought? Through his sensors, Deho could see the alien fleet in the distance. They had been expecting to face one damaged cargo ship. Instead, they found themselves looking at the largest human fleet ever assembled. "The alien ships are moving," Nari reported. "They appear to be retreating." "Let them go," Admiral Park ordered. "But keep them on sensors. I want to know if—" "They call for more ships." Deho's communication system chimed with an incoming transmission. The face that appeared on his screen was not Admiral Kethval, This was a new alien, one with darker skin and more elaborate markings on his uniform. "Human fleet," the alien said. "I am Supreme Admiral Zalcothan of the Veltar Empire. I demand to speak with your commander." "You are speaking with her, Admiral," Park replied. "I am Admiral Park of the Earth Defense Force." "Impossible, you are female. Females cannot be warriors." There was silence on the communication channel for several seconds. Then Admiral Park spoke, and her voice was very cold. "I see we have a cultural misunderstanding, Supreme Admiral. In human society, both males and females serve in our military. Some of our best commanders are female. Some of our most feared warriors are female. You would do well to remember that. Your strange customs do not concern me," the alien replied. "I am here to discuss the unprovoked attack on our fleet." "Unprovoked?" Admiral Park's voice rose. "Your ships attacked a civilian medical transport. That is an act of war under both human and galactic law. The vessel was armed. It destroyed several of our ships. The vessel defended itself against pirates," Admiral Park corrected. Captain Kim showed remarkable restraint. "If it had been one of my warships you attacked, there would be no survivors to have this conversation." Daeho listened to the exchange with growing concern. The aliens were trying to justify their actions, which meant they were planning to continue their aggression. "Supreme Admiral," he said, "may I ask you a question?" "You may speak, merchant." "How many species has your empire conquered?" 12 inferior races have been brought under Veltar rule." "And how did those conquests begin?" The alien was silent for a moment. "I do not understand your question." "Did they begin with attacks on civilian ships? Did you test each species by attacking their weakest vessels first? Our methods are not your concern." "I think they are," Daeho said quietly. "You chose to attack my ship because you thought it was defenseless. You thought humans were weak because you had only seen our civilian vessels. You made the same mistake with 11 other species. Your point, merchant?" "My point is that you picked the wrong species this time." Supreme Admiral Zalcothan's face twisted with anger. "You think your fleet frightens us. We have over 2,000 ships in this sector alone. More are coming." 2,000 ships, Admiral Park repeated. "That is impressive. Nari, what is our current strength?" 93 ships present, Admiral. However, I am detecting additional human vessels arriving continuously. Current projection shows 150 ships within 6 hours. 150, Admiral Park said thoughtfully. "And what is the combat effectiveness ratio between our ships and theirs?" "Based on observed technology and tactics, each human vessel is approximately equal to 15 Veltar ships in combat effectiveness. So our 150 ships would be equivalent to, what, 2,250 of their ships?" "That is correct, Admiral." Supreme Admiral Zalcothan's face had gone pale. That cannot be accurate." "Would you like a demonstration?" Admiral Park asked sweetly. "Captain Kim disabled 23 of your ships with an old cargo hauler. Imagine what our newest dreadnought could do." The alien fleet in the distance began to move. They were spreading out, trying to get into a better position. But they were also moving farther away. "They are afraid," Nari observed. "They should be," Admiral Park replied. "Captain Kim, would you like to rejoin the fleet? Your little cargo ship looks lonely out there." "Thank you, but I think I will stay here. Someone needs to keep an eye on our guests." "Understood. All ships maintain defensive positions, weapons charged and ready, but do not fire unless fired upon." The human fleet arranged itself in a formation that was both beautiful and terrifying. The ships moved with perfect coordination, like a dance performed by giants. Each vessel was exactly where it needed to be, covering the others and ready to respond to any threat. "How do they move like that?" one of the alien voices said over an open channel. "Training," Admiral Park replied. "Human military crews train together for years. We share information instantly through quantum communication networks. We think as one mind and act as one body." "This is impossible," Supreme Admiral Zalcothan said. "No species can coordinate so many ships with such precision." "You are wrong," Daeho said. "Humans have been fighting wars for thousands of years. We have learned to work together because our survival depends on it. When someone threatens one of us, they threaten all of us. Pretty words, merchant, but words do not win battles. You are right, Admiral Park agreed. Actions win battles, and our actions have always been clear. We will defend ourselves and our people with overwhelming force. More human ships continued to arrive. Each one that dropped out of hyperspace was larger and more advanced than the last. The alien fleet was now completely outnumbered and outgunned. Supreme Admiral, Deho said, I want to make you an offer. What kind of offer? Leave human space. Go back to your empire and tell them the truth about what happened here. Tell them that humans are not weak. Tell them that we will defend ourselves and our allies. Do this, and there will be no war between our peoples. And if we refuse? Deho looked at the massive human fleet surrounding him. Ships that could destroy planets, weapons that could burn away atmospheres, crews that had trained their entire lives for this moment. If you refuse, then your empire will learn what happens when you threaten humanity. And I promise you, Supreme Admiral, it will not be a lesson your people will survive to remember. The alien was quiet for a long time. Around him, his fleet was clearly nervous. They had come expecting an easy victory over primitive humans. Instead, they found themselves facing the most advanced military force they had ever seen. You ask us to return in shame, the alien said finally. I ask you to return alive, Deho corrected. That is more mercy than you showed me when you attacked my ship. Our empire will not accept this humiliation. Then your empire will fall, Admiral Park said simply. We have given you a chance to avoid war. If you choose war instead, we will give you war. But understand this, it will be the last war your empire ever fights. Supreme Admiral Zalkothan looked at his screens where the human fleet waited in perfect formation. Each ship was ready to fight. Each crew was prepared to die if necessary. But more importantly, each vessel represented the combined technological and tactical knowledge of an entire species that had spent millennia learning how to destroy its enemies. We will consider your offer, the alien said. You have 24 hours, Admiral Park replied. After that, we will assume your intentions are hostile and act accordingly. The communication channel closed. In the distance, the alien fleet began to withdraw even farther. They were clearly having urgent discussions about what to do next. Do you think they will leave? Admiral Park asked. Deho thought about the alien. The Veltar fleet left human space, but they did not go far. Supreme Admiral Zalkothan took his damaged ships to the nearest Veltar military base and sent an urgent message to the Empire's capital world. The message was simple. Humanity was not what they appeared to be. On the capital world of Veltar Prime, Emperor Thaxmor received the report with growing disbelief. According to his admiral, a single human cargo ship had disabled 23 Veltar vessels. Then a human fleet of over 200 ships had appeared, demonstrating technology and coordination far beyond anything in Imperial databases. This is impossible, the Emperor declared to his war council. Our intelligence reports show that humans have only recently achieved interstellar travel. They should have perhaps 50 ships total, all of them primitive. Your Majesty, Supreme Admiral, Zalkothan said via quantum communication, I have seen their fleet with my own eyes. Each of their ships appears to be more advanced than our best vessels. They coordinate their movements with impossible precision, and they claim to have many more ships coming. Lies and tricks, declared Imperial Admiral Vextar, the Empire's chief military strategist. No species develops such capabilities so quickly. They must be using holographic projections or some other deception. But Emperor Thaxmor was not entirely convinced. The Veltar Empire had conquered 12 other species over the past 2 centuries, and each conquest had followed the same pattern. First, they would test the target species by attacking isolated ships or small colonies. If the species proved weak, full invasion would follow. If the species showed unexpected strength, the Empire would withdraw and seek easier targets. But humanity was different. No species had ever responded to a test attack with such overwhelming force. Summon Admiral Colmiran, the Emperor ordered. If the humans think their tricks will frighten us, they are mistaken. We will show them the true power of the Veltar Empire. Meanwhile, in human space, the situation was developing rapidly. Word of the alien attack had spread throughout the colonies, and the response was immediate and unanimous. Every human world began preparing for war. On Earth, Admiral Hyejin Lee stood in the command center of Earth Defense Headquarters, watching reports pour in from across human space. Mining stations were being converted to weapons manufacturing facilities. Civilian ships were being equipped with military systems. Reserve fleets that had not been activated in decades were being brought online. "Admiral," her aide reported, "we have confirmation that over 400 ships are now en route to Captain Kim's position. Colony defense forces from 17 different worlds have volunteered for the mission." 400 ships, Admiral Lee repeated. "For one cargo hauler?" "Yes, ma'am. Apparently, the attack on a medical supply ship has made a lot of people very angry." Admiral Lee nodded. She understood the feeling. In human culture, attacking a medical vessel was not just an act of war. It was a violation of everything humans believed about civilized behavior. "What about the diplomatic situation?" she asked. "Minister Min-Soo Choi is attempting to open communication channels with other alien species in the region. So far, 3 species have agreed to share intelligence about the Veltar Empire. And what are they telling us? Nothing good. The Veltar have a pattern of attacking weak species and enslaving the survivors. They have destroyed the home worlds of at least 6 species completely. They do not negotiate, they do not show mercy, and they do not accept defeat." Admiral Lee studied the tactical displays around her. The human fleet at Captain Kim's position was now the largest concentration of military power in human history. But according to intelligence reports, the Veltar Empire controlled over 10,000 ships across dozens of star systems. "Ma'am," another aide reported, "we are receiving a transmission from the outer colonies. The Veltar fleet has been reinforced. They now have over 300 ships at the edge of our territory." 300 ships, Admiral Lee mused. "They are escalating. Should we respond with additional forces?" Admiral Lee thought carefully. Human military doctrine emphasized overwhelming response to any threat. If the aliens wanted to escalate, humanity would escalate faster and harder. "Send fleet groups 2, 5, and 8 to reinforce Admiral Park," she ordered, "and activate the Mars shipyards. I want every available vessel prepared for combat operations." "Yes, ma'am." "And the civilian evacuation procedures?" "Not yet. If we start evacuating civilians, it will send the wrong message. We want the aliens to understand that we are not afraid of them." But privately, Admiral Lee was concerned. The Veltar Empire was much larger than humanity's current military could handle in a prolonged war. If this situation continued to escalate, Earth would need to reveal capabilities that had been kept secret for decades. Back at the frontier, Captain Dae-ho Kim watched the alien fleet growing larger each day. A simple cargo run had become the center of the largest military standoff in human history. "Captain," Nari reported, "I am detecting significant changes in the alien fleet composition. They have brought larger ships, including what appears to be a dreadnought-class vessel." Dae-ho studied the sensor readings. The alien dreadnought was massive, easily twice the size of the human ship Incheon. Around it, hundreds of smaller vessels moved in complex patterns. "They are preparing for battle," he observed. "Yes, Captain. And Admiral Park's fleet has grown to over 600 ships. 600 human ships against 300 alien vessels. On paper, it should be an easy victory for humanity." But Dae-ho had been in enough battles to know that numbers did not tell the whole story. "Nari, scan the alien dreadnought. I want to know what kind of weapons it carries." "Scanning. Captain, the alien dreadnought is equipped with weapons I have never seen before. The power readings are enormous." Before Dae-ho could respond, his communication system activated. The face that appeared was not any of the Veltar commanders he had spoken with before. This alien was larger than the others, with elaborate ceremonial scars covering his face. "Human fleet," the alien said. "I am Admiral Kolmiran of the Imperial War Fleet. You have been judged a threat to the Veltar Empire. Surrender immediately or face total destruction." Admiral Park's voice responded immediately. "This is Admiral Park. We are in human space conducting lawful operations. Your fleet is trespassing. You will withdraw immediately. We do not recognize human claims to this territory. Admiral Colmiran replied. Space belongs to the strong. Your species is weak. You will submit to Imperial authority. I think there has been a misunderstanding, Admiral Park said calmly. We are not weak. Would you like a demonstration? Your tricks will not work against the Imperial Warfleet. We have brought the dreadnought Death Shadow. It alone could destroy your entire fleet. Deho looked at the massive alien ship on his sensors. It was indeed impressive, bristling with weapons and heavily armored. But he had seen human dreadnoughts before, and he knew something the aliens did not. Admiral Park, he said on a private channel. May I make a suggestion? Go ahead, Captain. Kim. Show them the soul. There was a pause. Then Admiral Park's voice came back, and Deho could hear the smile in it. Excellent idea. All ships, clear space grid, 7 Alpha, incoming heavy unit. The human fleet began to move, creating a large empty area in their formation. For several minutes nothing happened. Then space itself seemed to tear open. What emerged from the hyperspace rift was a ship so large that it defied comprehension. The HTFS Soul was more than a dreadnought. It was a mobile fortress carrying enough firepower to sterilize entire planets. At over 3 kilometers long, it was the largest warship ever built by any species. What is that thing? One of the alien voices whispered over an open channel. That, Admiral Park said proudly, is what humans build when we really want to make a point. The Soul moved slowly into position, its massive bulk casting shadows across the smaller ships around it. When its weapon ports opened, they revealed cannons larger than most entire starships. This is impossible, Admiral Colmiran said, but his voice had lost all its confidence. No species can build ships of such size. Humans can, Deho said simply. We have been building them for 50 years. The Soul is just one of 12 Fortress-class dreadnoughts in our fleet. 12? The alien admiral's voice cracked slightly. 12, Admiral Park confirmed. And each one carries enough firepower to destroy your entire fleet single-handedly. The alien fleet had stopped moving completely. 300 ships hung in space, their crews apparently paralyzed by the sight of the massive human vessel. Admiral Colmiran, Deho said, I want you to understand something. Your empire has spent 2 centuries conquering weaker species. You have destroyed worlds and enslaved entire populations. You think this makes you strong. We are strong, the alien replied, but his voice shook. No, you are bullies, Deho corrected. You pick on species that cannot fight back, but now you have encountered a species that can fight back. A species that has been preparing for this moment for decades. What do you mean? I mean that humanity has known about your empire for 20 years. We have been watching you. We have been studying your tactics. We have been preparing. This was not entirely true, but Deho knew the psychological impact his words would have. The aliens needed to understand that they were no longer the hunters. The 6 hours passed slowly. During that time, the alien fleet remained in position, but their communication traffic increased dramatically. Admiral Colmiran was clearly receiving orders from the highest levels of the Veltar Empire. On the human side, Admiral Park used the time to reorganize her massive fleet. Ships that had arrived from different colonies and different command structures needed to be integrated into a unified force. It was like conducting a symphony orchestra where half the musicians had never played together before. Captain Deho Kim watched it all from his small position at the center of the formation. The Iron Phoenix was still just a cargo ship, but it had become the symbolic heart of the largest military confrontation in galactic history. Captain, Nari reported, I am detecting new ships entering the system. They do not match Veltar designs. Deho looked at his sensors with growing concern. How many ships? Over 1,000, Captain, and they are coming from multiple directions. Before Deho could respond, Admiral Park's voice came over the communication system. All ships, we have new contacts entering the system. Unknown species, multiple vectors. Maintain defensive positions and prepare for possible hostilities. The massive view screen in front of Deho flickered to life, showing the tactical situation. The Veltar fleet was still in position, but now they were surrounded by ships from at least 6 different alien species. Some of the new arrivals were taking positions near the human fleet. Others were moving to support the Veltar. It appears word has spread, Nari observed. Yes, Daiho agreed grimly. Everyone wants to see how this ends. A new communication channel opened, and an alien face appeared that Daiho had never seen before. This species had blue skin and large multifaceted eyes. Human fleet, the alien said. I am Admiral Treshek of the Kitharan Republic. We have come to offer our support. Support? Admiral Park asked. Why? The Veltar Empire destroyed our sister colony 50 years ago. We have been waiting for someone strong enough to challenge them. Today it appears that someone has arrived. Another channel opened, showing an alien with silver skin and no visible eyes. This is Commander Yulan of the Zephyrian Alliance. We also offer assistance to the human fleet. The Veltar enslaved our people for decades before we won our freedom. We would be honored to fight beside you. More channels opened as other species declared their intentions. Some supported humanity, seeking revenge against the Veltar Empire for past crimes. Others supported the Empire, either out of fear or because they had benefited from Veltar conquests. This is getting complicated, Admiral Park muttered on. A private channel. No, Daiho replied. This is getting simple. The galaxy is finally choosing sides. The communication chaos was interrupted by a new transmission from Admiral Kolmiran. The Veltar commander looked older than he had 6 hours earlier, as if the stress of the situation had aged him rapidly. Human fleet, he said. I have received orders from Emperor Thaxmor himself. The Veltar Empire does not negotiate with inferior species. We will not withdraw from this system. Then you have chosen war, Admiral Park replied. We have chosen to maintain imperial honor. But before we begin, you should know that this fleet is just the beginning. The Emperor has mobilized the entire Imperial Navy. Over 5,000 ships are en route to this position. 5,000 ships, Admiral Park repeated thoughtfully. Nari, what is our current strength? 812 human vessels present, Admiral. Allied fleet strength is approximately 600 ships from various species. So we have roughly 1,400 ships against their 5,000, Admiral Park calculated. Those are not good odds. Admiral, came a new voice over the communication system. This is Admiral Tae-Young Yoon aboard the Fortress Dreadnought Busan. I have been monitoring this situation from Earth Defense Command. Admiral Yoon, Park replied with obvious relief. What are your orders? My orders are simple. End the Veltar Empire's threat to galactic peace. Permanently. A new hyperspace rift opened, much larger than any that had appeared before. What emerged was not just one ship, but an entire fleet. At its head was the Busan, sister ship to the Seoul and just as massive. Behind it came hundreds of human vessels that had been held in strategic reserve. But these ships were different from the ones already present. They were sleeker, more advanced, and they moved with a coordination that was almost supernatural. What you are seeing, Admiral Yoon announced to the gathered fleets, is the Earth Defense Force Strategic Reserve. These ships have been in development for 20 years, designed specifically to deal with threats like the Veltar Empire. The alien allied fleets moved aside respectfully as the new human ships took position. Even Admiral Park's forces seemed small compared to these newcomers. Admiral Kolmiran, Admiral Yoon continued, you claimed that your empire has 5,000 ships. I want you to understand something about human military planning. We always assume our enemies are stronger than they appear. We always prepare for the worst-case scenario. We always build more ships than we think we will need. What are you saying? I am saying that the forces you see here represent less than 10% of human military capability. If your empire wants to fight a war of numbers, we are prepared for that war. The alien commander's face had gone completely gray. 10%? That is impossible. Would you like me to prove it? Admiral Yoon asked pleasantly. I can call for additional fleets if you prefer a more dramatic demonstration. No, Admiral Kolmiran said quickly. That will not be necessary. Admiral Yoon's expression became serious. Then let me make humanity's position clear. The Veltar Empire will withdraw. from this system immediately. You will release all enslaved populations under your control. You will cease all aggressive actions against other species, and you will pay reparations to the species you have wronged. Impossible. The Empire will never accept such terms. Then the Empire will cease to exist, Admiral Yoon said simply. We have the capability to sterilize every Veltar world simultaneously. Your choice is simple. Accept our terms or watch your species become extinct. The communication channel was silent for several long minutes. Finally, a new voice joined the conversation. It was older and carried an authority that made even Admiral Colmiran seem small. This is Emperor Thaxmore of the Veltar Empire, the voice said. I speak directly to the human commander. This is Admiral Yoon. I am listening. You make impossible demands. Our empire has ruled this region for centuries. We cannot simply abandon everything we have built. Your empire has ruled through violence and oppression, Admiral Yoon replied. That ends today. And if we refuse, then in 72 hours the Veltar species will be a memory. Emperor Thaxmore was quiet for a moment. When he spoke again, his voice was different, smaller, afraid. You would truly commit genocide against an entire species? We would commit justice, Admiral Yoon said, echoing Admiral Park's earlier words. Your empire has committed genocide against 6 species that we know of. How many others have you destroyed that we have not yet discovered? That was different. Those species were weak. They could not defend themselves. And now you cannot defend yourself, Admiral Yoon pointed out. Does that make it acceptable for us to destroy you? The Emperor was silent. I thought not, Admiral Yoon continued. So let me offer you an alternative. Your empire can survive, but only if it changes completely. Release your slaves, end your conquests, begin paying reparations, and submit to regular inspections to ensure compliance. You ask us to become servants. We ask you to become civilized. The choice is yours. Captain Daeho Kim listened to this exchange with mixed feelings. Part of him was proud of his species' strength and determination, but another part of him remembered that this had all started with a simple cargo run to deliver medical supplies. Admiral Yoon, he said, may I add something? Of course, Captain. Kim, this situation began with the attack on your ship. You have earned the right to speak. Daeho opened a direct channel to Emperor Thaxmore. Your Majesty, my name is Daeho Kim. I am the captain of the cargo ship your fleet attacked. The merchant, the Emperor said dismissively. Yes, the merchant. I was carrying medical supplies to sick children in the outer colonies. Your commander attacked me without warning, without provocation, and without mercy. He planned to steal my cargo and let those children die. What is your point, merchant? My point is that you could have avoided all of this. If your empire had approached us peacefully, if you had asked for trade or cooperation instead of demanding submission, none of this would have happened. Humans are not your enemy. We never were. We do not make agreements with inferior species. That attitude is why your empire is about to fall, Daeho said sadly. You see everyone else as either a threat to be destroyed or a slave to be conquered. You cannot imagine cooperation between equals, because there are no equals to the Veltar. Look around you, Daeho said quietly. 6 different species came here to fight beside us against you. They did not come because we forced them. They came because they believe in something better than conquest and slavery. They came because they want to live in a galaxy where species can coexist peacefully. Weakness, the Emperor spat. Strength, Daeho corrected. The strength that comes from unity, the strength that comes from